All right, well, first of all, thank you everyone for being here. We appreciate you as always. Proud of our football team. Went down to San Antonio, played a tough UTSA football team, and found a way to come away with a win. Thought it was a tremendous, as I said after the game, crowd in San Antonio. The Baylor people were there. It was great to play in front of our fans, but I also thought the Roadrunner faithful were there. They were in force, and so I thought as we move our team forward, as we continue to try to grow them and you know, learn to handle new experiences as we go on the road in the future, that crowd noise, that decibel level will be very good for us as we try to have poise in the noise moving forward. Excited to get back. Came away from that game with really no injuries. You know, Bravion went down for a little bit and was able to come right back. And excited to get back this week and play a really good Duke team, a team that's, I don't know if they're in the top 25 or getting votes in the top 25, I'm sure. Coached by a guy who I've been on record as saying is really a hero of mine in coaching in David Cutcliffe. And so went there last year. It was a hard-fought game. They beat us soundly, and we've worked hard to get ourselves back in this position. So we'll look forward to playing them this Saturday. Another challenge for our guys, another opportunity for us to be at home. And like anything else, we're going to enjoy the win. We've enjoyed the win, but we know there's a lot of things we have to improve on. Most importantly, up front on the offensive line, we have to play significantly better versus an outstanding Duke defensive line. I know there's going to be lots of storylines in this game, but to me the biggest one is they have an all-American, all-everything defensive end, and Victor Dimukeje, who as a freshman last year was special. He's got 2 sacks. He's got 11 pressures. Dominant sacks, dominant pass rushes, and it'll be a challenge for us and that to go along with the rest of their defensive line. You know, they've got sacks spread out across the board, so they're really athletic on defense. Linebackers are outstanding players. They lost Mark Gilbert, unfortunately, but they have a tremendous secondary. They'll play us man-to-man. They'll play bump and run. They'll get up in our faces. They do it to everybody, and it's why no one scored more than 30 points on them, really, in over a year. I think they've had 7 straight fourth-quarter shutouts, which is absolutely amazing. Northwestern scored in the first drive and then did not score again for 55 minutes. So they are an outstanding defense, an outstanding red zone defense, and we'll have to play significantly better up front to have a chance against this pass rush that we're going to see. And we saw that last year. I think they had 4 or 5 sacks against us down the stretch, and we'll have to be much improved. Defensively, I know we're working hard to correct some of those big plays that popped the other day. We're getting better. We just need a little bit more in terms of discipline and gap integrity and making sure that we don't come out of our gap. And as we move forward, both offensively, defensively, and special teams, we've been able to overcome a lot of self-inflicted mistakes, and you certainly can't do that against Duke. We can't, we can't drop kickoffs. We can't have crucial penalties on 4th and 1. We've got to grow up as a football team, and they're working hard to do that. Again, I'm proud of our players. I thought that they're learning as the games go, but this will be quite a test. And to have a Power 5 team, I think they're one of 5 Power 5 teams to win a Power 5 road game this year. I think someone told me that. It wasn't even you, Taylor, someone else. So they've gone on the road and they've won a game in the Big Ten. That's impressive. And now I know they're getting ready to come down to Waco. They've lost a couple guys. I have the utmost respect for Daniel Jones as a quarterback, and I'm sad to see him hurt. I know he'll be back, but I know 2 things. With the David Cutcliffe team, you're going to get good quarterback play, and Quentin Harris is an outstanding dual-threat quarterback. We've played against him, so we're preparing for everybody and trying to make sure our team's as good as it can be.
Matt, is Quentin Harris, is he a different kind of quarterback than Daniel Jones?
Yeah, he's only attempted 15, I think, passes. But he's played. He came in against us last year. He's a dual threat guy. He can run it. He can throw it. He's been like their short yardage goal line quarterback run game. So it introduces a whole other element to us now in terms of having to. Now Daniel could run. I mean, they ran him a ton in the red zone last year. Ran him against us last year. But we're going to have to handle the quarterback run game. And when you have a quarterback who will run it, you gain a defender. He becomes 11 on 11 for the first time in football. And so it'll be a challenge, and it introduces a whole other set of variables that probably hadn't planned on working on this week.
Charlie Bird Brewer seemed to have stepped up his game a little bit from week 1 to week 2. Is that due to experience, the team he played against, or maybe the fact that he's got some better competition behind him at quarterback?
I think the competition has helped both quarterbacks. I think they're both having to push without pressing. I think you could see a little different look in Charlie's eyes, this week. As I've said, sometimes when you're going through things in life and you feel like it might feel like adversity ends up being the greatest thing that ever happened to you when you look back. And I think that's the truth for both guys. And, whereas early on maybe you press, you're pushing, just name me the starter so I can relax. I think this week you saw Charlie have a different look in his eye all week. And really, the first game, Charlie took us right down the field. We get a penalty, or Platt goes to the 1 yard line, about to score. We get a penalty, a couple drops, and so Jalen's moving us. This game, Jalen comes in and he makes an unbelievable throw to Mims, a couple drops, a couple wrong routes, and now he's sort of the victim of those things. So I think both players are playing at a high level. I think both players are trying to get better. Both players bring a little something different. Charlie's a little bit more move around in the pocket. Jalen gets the ball down the field a little bit further. But I think they're both getting better, and so we'll continue to play both.
I had a chance to look at the tape. What did you see from the run game the other night? Was it more UTSA? Was it what y'all were doing? What did you see from that?
Well, I'll always give credit to UTSA because they lined up and they stopped it. But it was just a lot of errors on our end. A lot of our guys kind of getting whooped. And, it's one of the negatives of, it's sort of the psychology of results. When you have success one week, you tend to not have as much success the next week in the same area. And when a team like, UTSA goes to Arizona State and our guys are looking at Arizona State, well, if you knew that Arizona State was going to go out and whip Michigan State, who's a top 15 team, then you might look at it a little differently. But they came to play defense. Now they put everyone in the box and there were some things open outside, but we still have to be able to block the guy in front of us and get yards, and we were not able to do that. But I do think the first 2 weeks have been good for us in that we've seen more defense than we'll probably see all year. I mean, we've seen a ton of different looks, and we played with a bunch of different guys. And so we played with 3 left tackles. We play with 2 left guards. And so, hopefully we can continue to develop a little consistency up front. But if we've got to simplify, if we've got to do more, we're trying to figure that out right now. But we got to find a way to run the football. We can't sit back there and throw it, every play.
Matt, you mentioned the differences between Charlie and Jalen. Is one of the similarities their accuracy, because y'all have been pretty accurate?
Yeah, I think I think their accuracy and their ability to take care of the football, and they handled duress. I mean, the quarterback wasn't really sitting back there patting the ball the other game. I mean, a lot of things were happening as they were getting hit. A lot of things were happening on schedule. Jalen gets hit from behind, fumbles the football. Man, he's about to throw a touchdown. We're about to score a literally, we think it's about to be a touchdown. Charlie had the tip ball last week, but I think they both take care of the ball really well, and they're both elitely accurate. And so, I know whatever we threw for last game probably could have thrown for another 150 if we just catch all the balls. And that's not a indictment. We had some receivers make some amazing catches. Probably have to play some more receivers. We were tired at times, and there's some receivers that are earning the ability to play. So we'll play some more guys this week, especially playing at 2:30 out in the heat. It was cool in there. I felt like it was like a mid-November game in that dome. But so we'll have to continue to bring some guys along. But both quarterbacks tremendously accurate. And the other thing I'd say is just how hard they work and how selfless they are. That's why you can have a good team when you have selfless guys out there playing.
10 different players caught a pass so far this season. I mean, how nice is it to see the quarterbacks distributed to pretty much everybody get involved?
I think it's important. I think it's vital for just our mental health as well. Guys not feeling like, hey, everything goes to this guy or that guy. I mean, there's catches, and then we also keep track of the targets, and we're targeting everybody about the same. And we're really just, taking what the defense gives us, or trying to take what the defense gives us. And, I think one of the big things has been able to get the ball to the backs. Jermichael, sort of a downhill physical runner, but getting the ball to him out, on the touchdown catch and some other things. Ebner's caught the ball out of the backfield, so utilizing the tight ends. Tight ends each caught a ball and probably could have caught one more in the end zone. So just trying to make sure that our balance is not just run pass, but also everyone touching the football.
Is Jalen Hurd kind of being a leader in getting the other receivers to downfield block?
I would say that he's setting the example, I think, and so is Chris Platt. I mean, both their blocking has been, the first game was dominant. This game, not as much because it was a little bit more. We were throwing it a little bit more, but even Mims caught that long one, and Platt got called for holding. I didn't say a word to Platt. I mean, he was blocking his tail off, and Mims went outside. If he goes inside, he probably scores, and that's they're playing the game, right? You never, you just run. But I just think both those guys play so well without the ball, Platt and Hurd, that now all of a sudden when you see Taekwon get in, you see Tony get in, even if it's in practice, there's a whole other attention to detail on that. I think one of the guys, he's a true freshman, but Christoph Henley at tight end, I mean, sometimes he's a little lost. He's growing as a true freshman tight end. He's not supposed to be starting, he's supposed to be rotating in, but he is starting. And you see him taking seriously who his man is and getting him blocked. And so the other people I would say with that, I want to make sure I say, are Lovett and Hasty. We do a lot of zone read stuff, where they think they're going to get it. When they don't get it, man, they put their foot in the ground and they run down the field to go block somebody. And so all of that selfless behavior is contagious. We talk a lot about our brand, and that's the brand. We just got to get the brand to permeate through all the aspects of our run game.
Matt, did you feel like the defense maybe took a step up this last week from the first week?
In some ways, yeah. I think the biggest thing on defense right now is that we still have guys making a lot of decisions. Our defense is based on precision. It's based on, here comes the fullback ISO, and I know I'm supposed to spill it, which means I go underneath it, so I go on the left side of the ISO, and I know the safety is going to be on the right side. And if I do my job and he does his job, there's no place for that ball to go. And we are in that time and space early in the year when guys, sometimes they're inside it, but then sometimes they go outside it. Now you end up with two guys outside and the ball splits, and we can't live like that. Good teams will hit us. Oklahoma got up on us last year 28-7. I hate going back to last year, but it's always an example of, we go back and watch that sometimes, and it's a Mike linebacker on the ball in the A gap thinking it's going to be something else and guessing and running out there, and the ball goes for 99. It's never what you think it is. It's just we do our job, and if they beat us physically, so what? But very rarely in football do you get beat physically. It's really a game of who makes the least mistakes. And so I know Phil and them are talking about that today. Like, we can't make decisions. We can't. On offense, we can't run the wrong route. We can't, if we make physical errors, who cares, man? Play through it. But those decisions about, I'm in my gap and I come out trying to make a play and the ball hits for 90, you can't play big-time defense like that. You have to play your gap. You hear Bill Belichick say it all the time. You got to do your job, do your job, do your job. And then once you've done your job, then you got to run to the ball and knock it out. And we still haven't forced a fumble yet. And we thought we had one the other day, and it ruled down, which is fine. But those are the steps. And so it'll hopefully start to click. It has to click this week against this group, especially if they're running the quarterback, because if we're not all precise and we're not all coordinated, the quarterback will come out for a big play.
How did Clay grade out in his first game back, Clay Johnson?
He played well. He played hard. We were trying to limit his reps. We didn't want him to get overly tired. I think Chad Kelly had gotten hurt in the week a little bit with a kind of a chronic ankle. It let Ross play a lot faster because he wasn't playing quite as many snaps. But, Clay knows the defense. He's a guy that now can play really free-minded. He can fly around. And, I thought the play he made they ran that one throwback type screen and man was an elite play. If he doesn't see that, it's out. And then they tried to pick him once in man. He got over the top, made a play. Those are come from experience, where not only do you know your job, but you can see the split, you can see what they're going to do to you. And I thought Clay was really, really special last year in the Duke game. He played really well. And, a lot of things that they do will try to take advantage of the Mike linebacker. And so I know, having him back another week fresh and then getting Chad back and then getting Ross up and running, those will all help us a ton. It's like at will linebacker, having Terrell and Jordan both playing is really helping us.
What is it about Coach Cutcliffe that makes him so good at developing quarterbacks that he's done for so many years?
I don't know that I know that answer, to be quite honest with you. I just, when I'm around him, he just reminds me of a teacher. The great coaches I've been around are truly teachers. Now, it doesn't mean they're all kind and, like I played for Coach Paterno. He wasn't kind and gentle all the time, but he was a tremendous teacher. Tom Coughlin, was a tremendous teacher. When I was at UCLA, I had a chance to spend some time with John Wooden. You talk about a teacher, right? And so that just appears to me to be what Coach Cutcliffe is. They do what they do. And what's awesome is their quarterbacks must leave. They're so well developed for the NFL because, they're calling the game at the line of scrimmage. They're doing things that you don't see a lot of college guys do, and that makes it really hard for us defensively. Like, they're going to study us and know what we're in, and here comes pressure and go to this, and here's quarters, let's go to this. And so we need the same level of, okay, we're in quarters, they're going to attack us with this, and that's the chess game. And but he's done it a long time. His quarterbacks, the Mannings, they go back to him, so you can tell he's clearly special. On a personal note, I think he's a tremendous coach. I mean, I always refer like the gentleman coaches in the game, the guys that shake your hand. You hear about the old days, coaches getting together in the off season, having tremendous relationships, and then going out there for 60 minutes and trying to, go after each other, and then shaking each other's hand after the game. And that's what football's supposed to be. And, Coach Cutcliffe is one of those men.
But what do you like about James Lynch? He seems to just be kind of a real active force.
Yeah, he's got 2 sacks right now. He's playing tackle. He's playing at an extremely high level. And I think the biggest thing is he's a big athletic man. So he uses his athleticism along with technique. Extremely coachable. He plays hard, and he's probably most suited, has his most pressure and stuff when he's inside. But because of some of our issues, he's had to go outside, and doesn't make excuses. Just finds a way to get it done. Playing, he's been banged up a little bit with a hand and an elbow. He plays right through it. Really a special player and a great teammate. He's just gonna continue to do this in my mind.
You talked about the crowd and the noise in the dome. It'd be nice to be back here this week.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the advantages you get when you're at home is you hope that it's really loud and you hope it's really difficult for the other team to operate. I know it was certainly hard for us to operate, and they've changed some rules in college football this year. Things are going really fast. They kind of warned me that the Facebook part of last week's game, there were not very many timeouts. It went really fast. And so, we have a great crowd, and we're hopeful that they'll be out there in full force, and the Baylor line will be there, and it'll be loud and exciting. I'm sure it will be.
How did Greg Roberts grade out his first action back?
Played well. He waited in a halftime, and then got a chance to go out there in the second half, and played inside and outside for us. I think the thing about Greg is he's aggressive. He gets off the ball. He plays hard. And it was good to get him back out there. And so I think we'll see, another week for him, another week of practice. I was proud of him. He took his suspension and practiced on the scout team and helped try to get our tackles and guys ready and worked really, gave him a lot of work. So he didn't take this as a time to pout or a time to not be a leader. He took it as a time to get better. So I thought he played well while he was out there.
You get a couple more guys back this week, Matt? Off suspensions?
Yeah, we should have a couple guys coming back, and some guys hopefully off of injury as well. So, I think one of the big ones is we're hopeful to get Tyrone Hunt back soon. That'll help our D-line and from injury. And then John Carlo, we're going to put him in at the end of the game. I said, let's wait, so hopefully this week John Carlo will be full go. Fu Morgan's now played, a week. He's got maybe more confidence in that knee that he can do it. And I'll tell you, Eliasa, made some steps from week 1 to week 2. So hopefully inside we can be a little more stout inside and add some more bodies in and see what happens.
How close are you to the 5 guys that you're going to want to stay on the offensive line for most of the time?
I don't know. It's just injuries, and those guys come back from injury. So, I think it's even much about the people as much as it is about those guys just taking a step, playing better, right? And so, getting those games and that's the same thing that's going to be with Duke. I mean, every play they're going to move, they're going to blitz, they're going to twist, and so we just need to play with more confidence up front. We will this week. We did it the first week, so we'll do it the second week. We'll do it this week.
You've touched on it a little bit, but the competition, the first 2 games, you feel like it's kind of gradually stepped up and now leads you here to this game against Duke?
Yeah, I mean, I think having a Power 5, non-conference home game is awesome. It's good for our program. We've played two good football teams that gave us, a good game and, put us in some unique situations, gave us a lot of things to prepare for, have exposed our issues, and we're working hard to fix those issues. We just know Duke is going to come in with a great game plan and they're a great team, and they went to Northwestern and won. They beat Army, they defended the triple option. You know how hard that is. I mean, but we can't control them. We can only control us. And so we're going to focus really hard this week on just making sure we're the best that we can be and go play hard, play for 60 minutes and see what happens. And so, but I do think it's good to, before we start conference play to have, a Power 5 home game and see, hey, let's see where we really truly are. And I think it's great that it'll be in the heat, so that we see, how many of our guys are ready to play, and we'll have to play more guys. And can we get better on special teams? Can we get better in these areas? There's a lot of areas to get better at, but I'll say this again. I think our guys are competing. I'm just really proud of last week, the fact that we didn't panic at halftime. They just kept playing. And when we can get the mindset, to me, is as important as anything, because the football will come. We got talented players, but it's the mindset that allows you to really, really, be dominant at some point.
You touched on it a little bit earlier, but after the game on Saturday, Jalen Hurd said that this is the most unselfish group of wide receivers in the entire country. Would you agree with that?
I'd say they're really unselfish. Even I talk a lot about, there's some guys waiting their turn right now, Josh Fleeks is going to get out there one of these days, and I think everyone's going to say, wow. Tony Nicholson's kind of catching punts right now, and Pooh Strickland. These guys are waiting their turn. So I think that they all push each other. They all practice hard. Taekwon's, making some plays here and there. Big shallow cross from Taekwon. But they all seem to support each other. They all seem to push each other. And what that allows you to do is, as a head coach, or, when we're calling plays, allows us to be really aggressive, because they're going to go out there and lay it on the line for each other and also block for their backs. So I like the group. I think our receiver coach, Frisman Jackson, has done a tremendous job of really making that a unit as opposed to a collection of players.
What made you decide on the onside kick to do it at that time?
That was Mike Saravo and Fran Brown. That was their call. They we've always had that in, but this week we thought on film we would have it. And Coach McGuire kept telling me, we're going to score the first drive and go onside kick it. I was like, okay. And the first onside kick, Fran said, we have it. And I said, well, let's just play defense, right? And we played defense, and then they said we have it again. And then finally, that last one, I said, all right, let's do it, and then we'll run the reverse pass. And I think the biggest thing is I have a lot of confidence in our defense, and we weren't really able to run the ball at the end of the game, so we were keeping it pretty wide open, and that's really not my way of usually ending games. But I kept talking to Phil, and he was like, do it, man. Just, put them away, try to go score. So going with a surprise on sides, you have to feel really good about your defense, faking a punt, all those different kinds of things, right? I also have a lot of confidence in Drew Galitz and, Jalen Petrie and Zeke Brown. They're the guys who came up with those balls. And all week we did it, and they blocked, and Galitz recovered it, and it took a weird bounce. And there's Petrie. They're there to make the play. And there's Zeke. Zeke, who's what's his major? It's engineering. He's just 3.9, 3.8, 3.5, whatever he is, student. He misses practice a little bit to go to class. He's paying his own way. He's a walk-on, but he's so tough and so selfless. He's on the special teams, and he makes a play that, his name's not, out there, but he makes the play. And they were telling a story last night that Petrie and Zeke both had the ball, and Petrie was asking them, let me get it. They both had it. But, just a lot of confidence in our guys. They'd go find a way, and if we didn't, so what? We'll play defense. And that's just the mindset we had in that game. And now this is a different game. We'll see how we feel by the end of the week about this game.
Matt, has Connor maybe taken his game even to a higher level than it was last year? He was really good last year.
Yeah, he's kicking the heck out of it. And, Lutzel's snapping it great, and Galitz is holding. And, it's kind of funny. Early in camp, we were kind of up and down in terms of that, and really kind of like we were last year. And then I think Connor, both years gotten into the season, and we have a lot of confidence in him. He's not making short field goals. He's making, the ball's out, the pass at 25, and but he's making them. And there's a lot of things like that. I thought our kickoffs, being in the end zone most of the game, now they returned one, but helped us. And so I like what our specialists are doing. They're doing a good job. Our punt team, I think we're second in the conference right now in terms of the punt. Our kickoff cover and our kickoff return is not where it needs to be right now, but our punt is doing a decent job.